So it's been 2 months since I'm shooting with the Voigtlander Septon 40mm f2, and as usual I have a few things to say about the lens. Well, first of all, it's very light and very compact and pretty fast, because with the aperture of f2 it lets in pretty decent amount of light, so you can shoot with a, let's say, low light conditions fairly easily with it. And the lens fits the A7C and the A7 series pretty nice. It makes these cameras very compact. With the A7C it's like almost a pocketable full frame, and I really enjoy using this lens with the A7C. It basically sits on my A7C all the time right now, and it's become my, well, favorite EDC lens. And this lens is very sharp, and well, it can be seen as a pro or as a con, which I will talk later, but it's definitely a very sharp lens, even wide open, so it delivers really quality image. It's not something like a Nocton 1.4 when if it's wide open it's a little dreamy. This lens is very sharp and contrasty while fully open, and it delivers, well, a rather modern kind of image. It's still got the character, but it's pretty, let's say, proper. It's not something like the vintage style Noctons or, well, in some cases Ultrons. So this lens is something like a bridge between. But yeah, of course, it's still got some character, and that's that element of unpredictableness, because sometimes it will render a very smooth, very creamy bokeh, and on the other hand, in some different scenarios, it will make the bokeh look more nervous, more busy, more like swirly a little bit. This is still the thing, that the magic about the Voigtlanders, that they behave unpredictable in different scenarios. So for me it's a really cool thing, and you have to be aware of that. And since it's a native lens, it delivers a really good MFD, which in this case is about 29 centimeters, so you can get pretty close to your subject, or to, like, if you want to shoot some details. And that's really cool, because if you wanted to focus really close with the previous lenses, like the classic Voigtlanders, you had to use the close focus adapter. And I don't like adapters myself, so I'm really happy that I can use a native lens, so it can focus really close. And the 29 centimeters is a really nice minimum focusing distance, because you can show a lot of details. You can use this lens as an everyday lens. You can shoot some like food photography with it. You can show close-up details while shooting portraits, and so it's basically a lens for everyday shooting. And this lens features the electronic contacts, so it shows the full EXIF data in the file, and it will show the focusing scale on your EVF or on your LCD screen. So it's pretty cool if you want to just go back to, you know, the details of each photo after mark some things in the post-process in your editing software. It lets you read all the EXIF data, so that's really cool. And I really missed that when I was using the classic lenses with the adapters, when you had absolutely nothing. And I've used this lens for different scenarios. I actually had it in with me for my Vienna trip lately, and I've shot this lens on the street. I've used it as an everyday lens. I shot basically my whole vacation with it, and that was something that I was really impressed with. That these pictures had some soul with it, and since this lens delivers great contrast and color straight out of the camera, they were really fun to edit, and well, I think they look pretty good. When talking about the cons, you have to definitely say that this lens is not weather sealed, and it has no, even no rubber gasket around the mount. So it's a quite expensive lens that offers no weather sealing at all. What I've seen, and I think there's no one talking about this, that the modern Voigtlanders with the electronic contacts, they have this flaw that especially shows when you're using the Sony cameras, because if you are shooting and if you're using the focus assist, the focus peaking, and the zoom feature, that the electronic contacts on the aperture are very sensitive. So sometimes if you put your finger accidentally on the aperture, the camera thinks you're trying to change the aperture, and it will kick you out of the zoom mode on the Sony cameras, and that's pretty annoying. And I know it's not a flaw of this specific unit I have, because I've shot the Nocton 35 1.4 before for the Sony, and it had the same issue, and then I got the another lens, and it also had this issue. So the aperture ring is very sensitive, and sometimes if you just touch it in a different angle, it sends the information to the camera that you're trying to change the aperture, and the camera reads that. And if you're using a Sony camera, it will kick you out of the zoom mode. That's pretty annoying sometimes. It's not a big deal, but you have to be aware that this lens also has this issue. And also, this lens does not have the infinity lock, so if you're shooting something like a landscape, you have to be aware that it focuses past infinity. I thought initially that this lens had the infinity lock and it stops at infinity, but well, it's not. It just focuses past that. So you have to be aware when you're using the focus scale. You have to stop just at the infinity, and well, it's kind of annoying as well, because sometimes you're just pushing the focusing ring just too far when you're shooting something really fast, and yeah, you can just be unpleasantly surprised after that. So back to the image quality and the sharpness. It is very sharp, and as I said, that this can be seen as a pro or as a con. And in this case, if you're looking for a classical vintage looking lens, this might be too modern, too sharp for you, because this lens offers really nice and contrasty image while fully open. You won't get this dreamy classical look if you shoot the f2. And this lens exhibits really heavy focus breathing, and it's really heavy. So if you intend to use this lens for video work, I'd think about it twice. Seriously, it's one of the biggest focus breathing I've seen. And of course, as a Voigtlander, it is a quite expensive lens, and since it's got no weather sealing, you're getting the really high price point, and it's sometimes hard to justify that. But you know, the full metal build quality, the optical quality here really does justify the price somehow. But still, for me, it is quite expensive, especially that this lens is, well, a manual lens, so it doesn't offer the AF at all. So who's this lens for? Well, it's a great lens for EDC photography and for the slow photography if you're willing to take your time when composing the shot. It's definitely for people who respect the shutter, so if you're not just snapping around like everything that's around you, but you have to stop and think about the composition and, well, take your time. First you have to master this lens because, well, it is an f2, so it's a little easier than something like an f1.4 if you want to focus wide open with a manual, but it still takes some time and you have to learn how to focus, well, using the focusing scale at best. So you will learn how to move the ring, and, well, considering the ring, I have added the focus tab because this lens does not have focus tab like many Voigtlanders, the classic Voigtlanders do. But I've got the 7 Artisans focus tab that sticks to the focusing ring, and it works flawlessly. I've used the same focus tab on my Nocton 35 f1.2 for Fuji before. And this focus tab works with the Nocton as well, and it works really good. So I recommend using the focus tab if you want to use this lens, because it helps a lot and it makes the focusing so much better. And it's a quality lens. It's something like a modern retro lens that will definitely be something that will bring you the joy of manual focusing, but still offer a really good and quality image. Alright, so that's it. If you are looking for this kind of lens, I really recommend the Septon f40 f2 because it's a really compact lens for Sony and Nikon systems right now, and it's become one of my favorite lenses of all, and I still have it on my A7C and I shoot it every day. Right now I'm trying to master the f5.6 and f8 for the street especially. So yeah, definitely get this lens. It's a recommend from me. And keep on shooting.